Hello, this is Nadine Hamworm on the Beatrix Potter Trail. I'm standing outside the home of the English painter John Everett Millais, where Beatrix and her father often visited. We've had to move round the corner because of the amount of noise from the traffic. Beatrix often talked about Millais and she wrote about him, and here's a couple of things she said. Papa asked Mr. Millais about mixing the paints. He very kindly said what I must get. He said linseed oil took 2 years to dry. I think that was a stretch, but it certainly takes a dreadful time and I think would crack. I believe Mr. Millais has nothing on hand just now but a bad cold. What a funny person he is, to be sure. Papa went to see him yesterday evening. He was in bed with his head tied up in a handkerchief, playing a game all by himself on a little board. He invited Papa to sit on the bed, but after treading on his slippers, he preferred a chair. Beatrix's father, Rupert, mixed with artists and also with MPs. His father was a Liberal MP of Carlisle. Papa has been photographing old Gladstone this morning at Mr. Millais'. The old person is evidently a great talker if once started. Papa said he talks in a set manner as if he were making a speech, but without affectation. They kept off politics, of course, and talked about photography. Mr. Gladstone talked of it on a large scale, but not technically. What would it come to? How far would the art be carried? Did Papa think people would ever be able to photograph in colours? He told several long stories, of which the point was exceedingly difficult to find, including one about a photographer at Aberystwyth 30 years ago. But at this point, Mr. Millais broke in with the request that Mr. Gladstone would sit still for a moment. Papa thinks the portrait promises very well. There have been 3 sittings. I'm 18 today. How time does go. I feel as if I'm going on such a time. How must Grandmama feel? What funny notions of life I used to have as a child. I often thought of the time when I should be 18. It's a queer business. That's all. Bye-bye.